We're back at it again. We are going to the thrift stores. I'm actually not looking for anything in particular. I just wanted to thrift around. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing what we find though. And as always, I'll put the timestamp right here if you want to fast forward right to the haul. But without further ado, let's go thrifting. Today I am going to be DIY different things that I thrifted. So I originally did find 3 in the store. However, literally when I got into the car, I was like, you know, I'm not going to DIY this one. This one's nice, but let's get into it. So next one was kind of just like an easy peasy one for me. I knew what to do with instantly. So I'm going to be taking this fisherman bust and kind of making it look older. So I'm thinking first and foremost, we're going to make this a neutral color. I want to make it look older, not flat tone. I really wanted to have dimensions. So this one was $2.99, which I think is a really great price. My overall goal is hoping that you guys are going to be looking for this kind of style piece so you can do it yourself. We'll see if I make that happen though. So we're going to be working on our Fisherman Sea Captain. So I did want to make him like a cream ivory color. So I do have some sample paint that I wanted to test out and see. But again, we're going to be making this look a little bit more antique and aged. Part of that in my mind is multiple colors. So we're going to start with the lightest, which is the base color. Ooh, it's been a while since I've used this clearly. Let's go ahead and start painting him. You know what? I should have started from the bottom, but that's all right. Okay, so I definitely don't want to overbrush, and I think I've covered as much as I can. So I'm gonna let this dry, do a second coat, and then we're gonna move on to like really distressing it. Okay. All right, so coming back after it dried overnight, and this one is actually looking really good. Love the color of it. Gonna be taking it up a notch by using darker paint as well as maybe some stains. So we'll see. I'm kind of winging this one, but we're gonna go for it. So obviously you can see as I'm holding it up to you, just the slight differences that a darker color will make to this. I do want to add some dimension to it, so I am going to be adding more colors to it and more layers. I'm going to go in sparsely with the darker color, so too much of it will definitely make it look like it's not supposed to be there. So I definitely want to make sure that I'm much lighter on this. So hopefully I don't mess this up, but let's go for it. And so next up is the piece that I was like, you know what? No, I like it as is. I'm not gonna do it. So I picked up this mantle clock. There's so many styles that are so similar to this that are already antique style. And while the color is not my favorite, I feel like there are so many ways you can make this color work in non-traditional ways when it comes to rooms in your home where you feel like they're on the more neutral side. So I'm gonna save this one. I'm gonna keep it as is. However, I will say the next thing that I'm gonna show you that I'm swapping in, I'm going to tell you right now, the only thing that I'm touching on this piece is the glass. Because honestly, the frame is gorgeous and the condition that it's in is something that I would never dare touch, because honestly, I think it's better that way when it looks a little run down. I found this beauty while thrifting on the side of the road for free. It's a standard wood frame with some glass in it. Now the glass is barely inserted into it, to be honest. Like, it's literally held in by one bent nail. Not touching the frame now. If you see the frame, it's got some really beautiful detailing to it. And obviously it's all scratched up, it's all dinged up. But that kind of worn exterior, that kind of faded stain is what I love. That's what I go for. So I'm thinking we're definitely not touching that at all. I am literally going to be working on the glass because one, glass is very easy to replace, but two, I've always wanted to do this DIY. And to be honest, I feel like the star of this piece anyways is its frame. So my idea is to actually make this frame into an old antique style mirror. I'm super excited about trying this DIY. I really hope it comes out great, but in time we'll see.
So I decided to DIY a few frames along with the original one that I was working on. Given the fact that this was my first time doing this DIY, I wanted to make sure that I tested it out, the process, before I moved on to the one that I actually wanted to work on. So I started off by cleaning the glass with glass cleaner, wiped it down, and then I moved on to my solution. Now my solution was basically equal parts water and vinegar. So I lightly sprayed the solution on the corners of the glass and working my way inward. To keep it looking natural, I made sure that I put more of the distressing on the outer edges, and when it was too much, I dabbed it with a dry paper towel to wipe off the excess water. Once I was satisfied with the look, I went in with my spray paint. And before the mirror spray paint dried, I went back in with my solution, sprayed it, dabbed it, kept on doing this until it was to my liking. Now, as far as the spray bottle goes, it would have been great if I got one with a mist setting, but unfortunately I didn't, so I kind of just kept on doing these steps back and forth until it actually looked natural. And to make it even more realistic, I ended up rubbing off the spray paint from the edges. I made sure that wherever the distressing was heavily placed, I rubbed away the edges more so in those places. And while you want to mostly focus on the edges and the corners, I found that a few droplets here and there in the center make it look a little bit more natural as opposed to leaving it completely untouched and perfect. And after giving them time to dry, I went in with my hammered spray paint. Now you can use black spray paint, but I specifically chose this one out of all the ones that I was looking at just because of the fact that it kind of gave me that vintage vibe that I was looking for, especially when it comes to like an older style mirror that I was trying to create. And I figured black spray paint would be a little bit more harsh than what I was looking for, and I wanted a softer contrast. So basically I just lightly spray painted the back until it was completely covered and none of the silver was peeking through. And the last step was just to wait for it to dry before I could put it back back in the frame. And once it was dry, I grabbed my frame and then carefully tried to put the glass back in. The old nails that were actually holding the glass in place were troublesome though. I couldn't bend them far back like I wanted to, and so I decided to use cardboard to kind of just make sure that it was a buffer between it so that it wouldn't move around like it used to. But it was at this point where I made the mistake and pushed down too hard to create a surface crack on my glass. So I don't know how many years of bad luck it is when you break a mirror that you made, but I'm just gonna chalk it up to the fact that I added a little bit more character. And here's a sneak peek for the next video.
So we're doing something I haven't done before, and we are going dark, moody dark. Put this up myself and somehow managed to not know how to take it down myself. But now to move on to the bookcases, which, all right, it's looking dark. Moment of truth, we're gonna paint this now. So I do feel kind of foolish.